about 1% of our entire experience of our mind is actually conscious. Did you know that? 1%. That means the majority of that, what's running us and making us do what we do, is subconscious and unconscious. I mean, that's why the energy is so helpful, because it helps to go into the deeper places that we can't reach and clear out stuff that we can't see. That's why I love the energy so much, because it clears stuff that, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what Brian is or where Brian's hanging on. I really don't. So I'm going to connect to a higher power that can actually help me out here. Otherwise, it would take, if I didn't have the grace factor, I mean, it would probably take thousands and thousands of lifetimes to finally crack the nut of Brian. Brian's a nut. I mean, he is. Like a hard shell of like, this is the way I have to act to protect myself to get by on earth. And we're trained that way. Son, make sure you make a good living and get a good job and protect yourself. It's like, so we build a strong shell because we've been trained to do that, so we don't get hurt. And then suddenly in spirituality, it's like, let go of the shell around your heart and just open to the love. You're like, but wait a minute, I'm so insecure. I can't even look people into the eye. You know, one of the practices I did in this one class is looking people, and we'd sit and look at each other in the eye for like 10 minutes or something. And inevitably someone would start crying.
Oh, wow.
Here you kind of have to look each other in the eye because everyone wears masks. I feel so privileged. I'm not wearing a mask.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, that's what I mean. Like the eye, even the eye contact itself is kind of hard for people. So, but think about like how much expression happens to the eye. They say that it's a window into the soul, like that, you know? You can really see people's expressions, but people don't want to be seen. Because if you know what I'm feeling, then I'm vulnerable. You can see that, because you can see depression in the eyes. You look at a person, you can notice it right away. And maybe you don't want to be seen as depressed. You don't want to be vulnerable and be yourself, because you don't want that person to think that you're depressed or that you're angry or that you're sad. You don't want people to see through you in a way. In the eyes, you can see so much. So, and I'm not saying you should go around looking at everyone. That'd be kind of great.
Not
Like,
in mixed
whoa.
company, probably.
You're like, whoa, take it easy, man. I'm not used to this. But I mean, you know, when you're kind of in safe company, like, I mean, it's good to practice with people.
Absolutely.
Your daughter, your son, your dog, I don't know. You know, someone who's like comfortable, like even your spouse. You may not be even used to connecting eye to eye with your spouse. Maybe every time you talk to your spouse, you're kind of looking at your feet or something. You know?
Or out the window.
Out the window or something like that. Because you ignore, you don't want to connect really that deeply with your spouse. I'm sure it happens all the time, even among spouses. So this is a good practice to be present with each other. And not only that, imagine, like I just thought of this just right now, just kind of came to me. But imagine if like you were looking at someone, let's say your daughter or whatever, and you just like this, and you put your hand on your heart, you look into their eyes, and you both say, Inanna Rachma, I am love. And you breathe in as you're looking, Inanna Rachma. You see, you can soften your relationship with someone just by doing that.
And that's teeny tiny
It,
in the grand scheme of things. It's
Yeah.
such a simple task.
yeah, seems small, but
It's huge.
but it's huge because you can have such a great breakthrough. Because then you break down the barriers with one person, it's easier to break down the barriers with other people. And then everywhere you're going, you're just thinking, Inanna Rachma. You're looking into their eyes and you're just feeling your own love, which is in them. So you feel love inside you, but it's in them also. Because whatever your inner filter is how you're seeing others in the world. If you're not experiencing love here, it's going to be hard to feel love in another person. Not that, I mean, it can happen the opposite way also, where you don't love yourself, but you love another person. But when I mean love, I'm not just talking about, wow, you know, you did really something kind to me, so now I'm going to open my heart to you because you gave me such and such and such. You said something kind to me or something. But I'm speaking of when I'm awakening the energy or presence of love, then I'm with you and I'm feeling almost like an impersonal love. It sounds kind of weird. But it's not because of what your smile. You have a beautiful smile. So I can't really see your smile. But, I can see your eyes smile. So, but you know, not because you smiled at me, but because I'm feeling my inner love so strongly that I'm feeling love in you. Because I worked on myself to build that energy of love. So it's starting to spill over into the rest of the world. And the idea is to feel, hopefully you didn't miss your bus. Maybe the next one. Yeah. And then when you see the bus driver, you can look in his eyes and say, Inanarach. Thank you. You know, bus drivers, it'd be interesting, you know, because bus drivers may not be used to the attention, and suddenly, you know, you're giving them love. You're like, wow. And sometimes they can make a person's day. They're so surprised that you connect with them in that way, even for an instant. Everyone else just walks by the bus driver, hardly even sees the bus driver, because the bus driver is just doing his job, driving you from place to place. Because everyone's thinking about getting from point A to point 8B, point A to point B. Instead of like feeling the love of presence everywhere. And when it gets so strong, then you start to, and this is amazing, start to dissolve your boundaries between you and other people and the air and the ground. The boundaries get dissolved. What I mean by that is the presence gets so strong that you feel it in you and me, and the air and the ground and the person. So it's like I'm not so centered here anymore. I'm here.